poor girl's hidden diary discovered at work. CEO's heartwarming reaction changed everything. Emily bustled around the cafe, her mind racing faster than her feet. The smell of fresh brewed coffee mingled with warm pastries, causing her stomach to rumble. She wiped sweat off her brow, casting a hurried glance at the clock. The lunch rush was relentless, and she needed every tip she could get. As a single mother in her early 30s, Emily juggled 2 small children and the heavy burden of bills piling up at home. Yet, every time she heard her kids laugh, the weight felt a little lighter. Every night, once the kids were asleep, she poured her heart into her diary. It was her secret haven, filled with dreams of a better future, a place where her children could flourish without the burden of her financial struggles. Dear Diary, one entry began, the ink tinged with the weight of her fears. I want to give Lily and Jake everything the world has to offer, but it feels like every door is closed. One hectic day, in the chaos of the bustling cafe, Emily accidentally left her diary behind on a table, hidden under a crumpled napkin. The diary lay quietly waiting, until Mark, the newly appointed CEO of the cafe chain, discovered it. He had gained a reputation for caring about the workers' well-being, pushing him to a point of curiosity as he read through Emily's poignant entries. Her words struck a chord, an echo of struggles he had never known. Why is no one talking about this? He whispered, feeling the personal weight of her dreams and doubts. Mark wrestled with the stark contrast between his corporate world and Emily's struggles. Inspired to help, he decided to act anonymously, slipping bonuses and gift cards to her on the sly. Yet, unbeknownst to him, his actions were misinterpreted, creating a quiet tension among the staff. Whispers floated around the cafe of favoritism, sowing seeds of misunderstanding. Emily felt an unsettling anxiety as a shadow loomed, sensing changes in the atmosphere at work. Who's behind all this? She thought, feeling vulnerable and exposed. Did someone read her diary? The thought made her heart race. As days passed, she became increasingly perplexed and frustrated at the increasing tension in the cafe, her hopes dashed against the rocks of distrust and confusion. Then came the day of the pivotal meeting. Mark, realizing that he couldn't hide behind anonymous charity any longer, called everyone together. Swallowing hard, he invited Emily to share her story. With her heart pounding, she stood before her coworkers, her voice trembling but resolute. You all deserve to know the truth about me, about us, she started, revealing the rawness of her life and her dreams. The eyes around her widened as she shared her struggle to provide for her children. Her words hung in the air like a prayer. In that moment, the tension in the room shifted. A feeling of community began to brew, but her estranged father was there too. His sudden appearance stirred a familiar tension, a judgment in his eyes as he listened to her truth laid bare. The possibility of reconciliation shimmered, but that flickering hope battled the shadows of their past. Would this spark healing, or push them further apart? As all eyes remained glued on her, Emily fought tears, realizing her vulnerability had bridged a chasm just as easily as it could tear her family apart. In those next moments, the pressure wrapped around them, almost palpable. Could her plea for understanding lead to healing for her family, or would the divisions deepen? The unresolved feelings hung thick in the air, leading to a question that lingered: what would come next? The air felt electric in the cafe as Emily stood there, her heart pounding. Each breath seemed heavier as her father's eyes bore into her, judging. She didn't know if it was the weight of the moment or the multitude of emotions swirling in the room. She had laid out her truth for everyone to see, a truth that had once felt too heavy to share, but now lay before them like an open book. Would they understand? Mark, standing just a few feet away, watched with a mixture of awe and admiration. It took courage to stand there, vulnerable in front of your coworkers and your estranged father. Emily, he thought, you're so incredibly brave. The murmurs among her coworkers started to soften. Some were nodding in solidarity, quietly sharing their own stories of struggle. It was as if her words had cracked something wide open and allowed everyone to breathe. Yet, as comfort swelled, a sorrowful silence settled between Emily and her father. He stood, arms crossed over his chest, a stone wall against her words. You think this is a sob story? He finally snarled, his voice breaking the fragile tranquility. Every eye turned to him, the room brimming with confusion. Emily's heart sank. No, Dad. I want you to understand. Her voice braved another step forward. I'm doing the best I can. For Lily and Jake. Each mention of her kids sparked a flicker of fire within her. She wasn't just fighting for herself, she was fighting for them. Being a parent is hard, she continued, her voice steadier now. You should know that better than anyone. For a moment, she thought she saw a flicker of recognition in his eyes, a glimpse of the father who had once held her close, before life pushed them apart. But it quickly vanished, replaced by a hardened facade. You always did think you were better than me, he shot back. The words were harsh, cutting through the air like sharp glass. Emily exhaled slowly, fighting the urge to crumble. She could feel the warmth of tears brimming on the edge of her lashes. This isn't about being better, Dad. It's about getting by. Mark felt the room's tension tighten around them, heavy and suffocating. He cleared his throat, stepping forward. Everyone here has fought battles you won on the surface, he said, looking at each of his employees, and Emily's father. We're all tied together by our struggles. Emily's vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a thread that connects us. Empathy was echoing in the room, but Emily could feel her father's resistance like a brick wall. She desperately wanted to bridge that gap. Please. I want to move forward, with you in my life or not. Suddenly, a child's laughter pierced through the silence. Emily's phone buzzed in her pocket, pulling her from the moment. It was a reminder about Lily's school play tonight. Her heart jolted. Those moments with her kids were what mattered most. Guys, I have to go, she said, swallowing hard. I can't miss the play. But can we continue this? I don't want it to end here. As she turned to leave, a mix of emotions swirled inside her: hope, fear, uncertainty. Would her father come around, or would this fracture only deepen? The cafe was quieter now, a heavy silence enveloping them as she walked away, leaving behind a storm of feelings and unresolved questions. Would her plea lead to the healing she so desperately sought? At that very moment, she glanced back, catching Mark's encouraging smile. Little did she know that the next twist could change everything she had just fought for. But would she be ready for it? Emily stepped into the cool evening air, the taste of anticipation still vivid in her mouth. Each step felt heavier, not from the weight of her burden but from the overwhelming need to be with her kids. She could see Lily, with her vibrant imagination, waiting to shine on stage. Jake's infectious giggle echoed in the back of her mind, pulling her forward. Her heart raced as she recalled the tension left behind in the cafe. Her father's words lingered like smoke in her lungs, and the thought of uncertainty stung. Would he really understand her? Would he ever be the father she wished he could be? The sun dipped lower, casting warm hues across the sky, reminding her of those golden moments at home, baking cookies with the kids or reading bedtime stories. Suddenly, Jake's laughter spilled over her memories, chasing out the shadows. Parking her car, she rushed inside the school, the bustling hallways filled with excited chatter. Parents were gathering, some wrestling with their cameras, others scanning the crowd for familiar faces. Emily took a breath and steadied herself. This was for her children, this was everything. In the auditorium, the lights dimmed, and she found a seat near the front. The faint smell of popcorn wafted in the air, mingling with the nervous excitement. A few moments later, Lily took her place on stage, her face brightened by the spotlight. The little girl's confidence radiated, each word spoken like a magic spell. Emily felt her heart soar. As the performance unfolded, Emily could feel that dark cloud from earlier begin to lift. Her daughter was incredible, her spirit uncontainable. There were moments when Lily would glance out into the audience, and every time, Emily's heart melted a little more. Then came a pause in the play, a moment of stillness. Lily glanced out, locking eyes with Emily, her wide grin radiating pure joy and reassurance. It was like a lifeline, pulling Emily right back into the warmth of hope. What she didn't expect was a sudden voice breaking through her thoughts. "Hey, Emily." Startled, she turned to see Mark, having followed her after the cafe. The concern in his eyes was unmistakable. I thought you might want support. I could use a reminder of what matters too. His presence felt grounding, like warm sunlight chasing away the remaining shadows. Thanks, Mark, she whispered, a small smile edging onto her face. I really needed that right now. The play continued, and Mark found a seat next to her. They exchanged glances, but it all felt oddly reassuring, just having someone who understood standing beside her. Yet as the final scene played out, the applause erupted, and Emily's heart swelled with pride for her daughter. Then it hit her. The buzz from her phone, a reminder that her day wasn't just about the performance. She moved to the side, checking her notifications and finding a message from her father. Can we talk tonight? I think I owe you an apology. Her heart raced, the very thought of another confrontation stirring a storm of conflicting emotions inside her. Could she muster the strength after this moment of joy? What did his apology even mean? As the applause turned to cheers and laughter filled the air, Emily's mind was pulled in two directions. She wanted to celebrate with her kids but also felt the weight of potential reconciliation with her father looming over her. The stage lights faded, and the chaos of parents swept in to embrace their children. Mark leaned closer, sensing her distraction. Everything okay? She took a deep breath, letting the moment settle for a heartbeat. I need to see what he wants. But I don't know if I'm ready for what comes next. A question lingered unasked in the air. Would confronting her father bring the resolution she sought, or would it rip open wounds she was still trying to heal? As Lily rushed into her arms, squealing with joy, a light flickered in Emily's heart. Could this be the beginning of understanding? Or would it lead her further into the unknown? The auditorium buzzed around her, vibrant and alive. The next choice could change everything, and the future was as uncertain as it was exciting. Would she take the leap, or let fear hold her back? The cheers enveloped Emily like a warm blanket, but a chill of uncertainty lingered just beneath the surface. She held Lily tightly, her daughter's excitement flooding her senses. Jake's small fingers wrapped around her hand, tugging insistently, pulling her back to the moment. Yet, her father's words danced in the shadows of her mind, whispering doubts she struggled to silence. Mommy, did you see how I danced? Lily beamed up at her, eyes sparkling with pride and triumph. Did you see me? Emily smiled, forcing the joy to the forefront. You were amazing, sweetheart. I couldn't take my eyes off you. She ruffled Lily's hair, her heart swelling. But just as quickly, the brightness dimmed. Meanwhile, Mark remained nearby, his presence a steadying force. He caught her eye, and something unspoken passed between them. Did he understand the turmoil simmering beneath her excitement? Congratulations, Lily! Mark exclaimed, kneeling down to her level as other parents joined in the praises. You really stole the show. Lily glowed under the adoration. Thank you. I worked really hard. Just then, Jake tugged at Emily again, his small voice barely a whisper amidst the noise. Mom, can we go home and have ice cream? She looked down at him and nodded, forced laughter escaping her lips. Ice cream sounds perfect. We can celebrate your sister's performance. But the heaviness weighed on her, a reminder that the night was far from over. As they gathered their things and made their way towards the exit, her phone buzzed again, a reminder of her father's message lingering at the edge of her thoughts. Could she postpone the inevitable? In the parking lot, under the glow of the street lamps, she turned to Mark. Thank you for being here, she said softly, searching his eyes for reassurance. I didn't expect this tonight, but it felt needed? He finished for her, his voice gentle. Exactly, she replied, her smile wavering. It felt nice to not be alone. Then don't be. I'm here for you, he said with a sincerity that wrapped around her heart like a lifebuoy thrown into stormy seas. Taking a deep breath, Emily wrestled with her decision, hesitant but resolute. I think I need to talk to my dad tonight. I can't keep pushing it away. This needs to be cleared up. The clouds of doubt were thick, yet a sliver of bravery ignited within her. She wasn't just fighting for herself, she thought about her kids, about setting an example of courage and truth. "Are you sure?" Mark asked, his brows knit together in concern. "Yes," she said, feeling braver with each passing second. "I need to face it. I can't let fear continue to rule my life." Moments later, with her heart pounding, Emily pulled up her father's contact on her phone. The thought of another encounter made her stomach churn. "Let us go home first," she said to Lily and Jake, her voice soft but firm. The children nodded, eager to devour the ice cream they had been promised, but Emily's focus was elsewhere. As they drove through the familiar streets, her thoughts raced ahead. The conversation with her father would be a turning point. But would it lead to healing or more pain? The uncertainty loomed large. At home, the sweet aroma of vanilla wafted through the air as they settled on the couch with bowls of ice cream. Laughter filled the room, snippets of joy lightening the heaviness that weighed down Emily's heart. "Mom, look at this." Lily pointed at her ice cream creation, laughter spilling from her lips. Emily's heart ached with love, with a desire to shield them from anything dark. But she knew that facing her father was part of it all. Would she find closure? Would she be able to pave a new path forward? After they finished their ice cream, Emily stole a glance at the clock, the decision pressing down as she stood. Mark caught her eye again, a silent question hovering. "I'll see how it goes. I'll be all right." But would she? When faced with the complexities of the past, could she find peace, or would it shatter everything she fought to build? As she prepared to reach for her phone one last time, a knock sounded at the door, pulling her attention sharply. The air changed, a new tension filling the space. Who could it be? Her heart raced again, uncertainty twisting within her. Would it be her father, come to confront her in person? The question hung heavy in the air, packed with potential and possibility. Emily's heart thudded against her ribs as she stepped cautiously toward the door. A wave of apprehension washed over her. What if it was her father? What if it was something else entirely? She glanced back at Mark, whose expression was a mix of concern and curiosity. "Should I?" she whispered, unsure of how to proceed. Mark nodded, urging her on. "You got this. I'm right here." Taking a deep breath, she twisted the doorknob and opened the door. In front of her stood her mother, a mixture of worry and relief written across her face. "Emily. I had a feeling I'd find you here." "Mom?" Emily couldn't mask her surprise. "What are you doing here?" "I came to check on you after Lily's performance. I know how much it meant to you," her mother said softly, stepping inside. Emily's throat tightened. She hadn't been ready to face her mother, either. The whirlwind of emotions from the night had already left her feeling raw and exposed, and now this? It was a good night, really. Just a lot to think about. Her mother placed a hand on her shoulder, warmth radiating through her touch. "I could see that. You've been carrying so much." Mark shifted slightly to introduce himself. "Hi, I'm Mark, a friend. I was just here to support Emily tonight." "Thank you for being here for her," her mother replied with a grateful smile, though Emily could see the subtleties of worry etched in her features. "Can we sit?" Emily gestured to the couch, the weight of everything suddenly feeling heavier. As they settled, a silence enveloped the room. Emily glanced at Lily and Jake as they played in the corner, their laughter a sweet distraction. If only their innocence could smooth over everything that had happened in the past. "Emily, I know I haven't been the best mother," her mom began, her voice trembling slightly as if every word carried a weight she was eager to release. "I want to discuss your father when you're ready. I didn't come here to push you. I just wanted to offer my support." The mention of her father sent a ripple of anxiety through Emily. "Support? He never really gave that, did he?" The words tumbled out before she could stop them, and she instantly regretted the sharpness in her tone. Her mother flinched, but quickly composed herself. "I know. But I can help you, Emily. You don't have to go through this alone." The thought of seeking help felt like stepping into the unknown. What if it doesn't change anything? What if it just makes it worse? Each word dripped with uncertainty. The response came softly, almost hesitantly. What if it leads to healing? What if it helps you find your way? Emily remained silent, wrestling with the turmoil inside. Could facing her father, with her mother's guidance, actually bring the peace she desperately craved? The thought was both frightening and liberating. Suddenly, a memory flashed, a childhood moment when all she wanted was her parents' approval, only to feel like she never met their expectations. Another wave of emotion washed over her. Mark broke into the charged silence. Emily, whatever happens, you're not alone. You have people who care about you. Her mother nodded in agreement, giving Emily the strength she needed to confront her fears. Maybe she didn't need to go in completely unarmed. Just then, the doorbell rang again, interrupting her thoughts. Emily's heart jumped back into her throat, and she felt Mark's reassuring presence next to her. Do you want me to get it? No, I'll go, she replied, standing up. Each step felt like a decision made in slow motion, pulling her closer to something she couldn't yet see. With her heart racing, she opened the door for the second time that evening, barely prepared for who or what might be waiting on the other side. As she turned the knob, she felt a flicker of hope alongside her fear. Could this surprise change everything? Would it lead her to the breakthrough she desperately needed? The door swung open, and Emily's breath caught in her throat. Standing on the doorstep was a tall figure, backlit by the porch light. Emily squinted, trying to make out the features of the shadowy silhouette. As the light caught his face, she recognized him instantly. It was Jake, her childhood friend, but standing there now, he looked so much older and more serious than she remembered. Emily! He exclaimed, shock and delight flooding his voice. I didn't know you'd be here. I just finished at the coffee shop down the street, and I thought I might find you. Can I come in? She felt a mixture of relief and confusion. Jake, of course, she said, stepping aside to let him enter. He walked in and hugged her tightly, a lingering hug that felt comforting yet unfamiliar. Mark and her mother exchanged glances, sensing the history that hung between them. How have you been? Jake asked, his eyes searching hers with genuine concern. She could see that he had grown, physically and emotionally, but the warmth in his gaze was the same. I've been okay, I guess, Emily replied, careful not to reveal the chaos swirling inside her. It's been a night, that's for sure. Lily's performance, right? It's so amazing to see you here supporting her, Jake said, glancing over at Lily and Jake as they played. His tone shifted slightly, becoming more serious. I heard what happened with your dad. If you need to talk, she could feel her heart rate quicken as all her defenses began to crumble. I don't know if I want to talk about it, Emily said, biting her lip. Just know I'm here, Jake reassured her, and she nodded, the sincerity in his voice resonating with her. Mark cleared his throat, reminding Emily that he was still there. I'm Mark, by the way, he introduced himself. Nice to meet you, man, Jake replied, a hint of excitement in his voice. You're the one who came to support Emily tonight? Good on you. The atmosphere relaxed a bit as they moved back to the couch. Emily felt the weight of her emotions lift just a little with Jake's presence. He had always been good at lightening the mood, even during difficult times. As they settled in, her mother took a deep breath. Jake, we were discussing a pretty heavy topic, but maybe you could help Emily through it. The suggestion hung in the air, charged and delicate. Of course. I know this is hard for you, Jake said gently, his expression earnest. Remember how we used to talk about everything, even the tough stuff? It's still okay to do that. A small smile crept onto Emily's face at the memory of their countless childhood chats, when the world felt so much simpler. Yeah, I do remember, she said softly. It's different now, though it doesn't have to be, he interrupted, his voice almost a whisper. As Emily looked into Jake's eyes, a spark of something she had missed flickered to life within her. Hope? Or could it be courage? The wall she had built around herself felt fragile and ready to break. Just then, another loud knock reverberated through the room, this time much more insistent than before. "Are you expecting anyone else?" Mark asked, glancing at Emily. "No," she replied, feeling a knot tighten in her stomach as she exchanged a quick glance with her mother. Could it be her father? The thought sent a jolt of unease through the room, hanging like a storm cloud ready to unleash its rain. As she stood up, trembling, she steeled herself for whatever was about to happen next. What if this time, she truly wasn't ready to face what lay behind that door? With a deep breath, she approached the door again, heart pounding as she turned the knob. The door creaked open, revealing a figure Emily hadn't expected to see. Her heart skipped a beat. It was her father, disheveled and red-eyed, as if he had been crying. His presence swallowed the room with tension. "Dad?" Emily whispered, disbelief swirling inside her like a storm. Behind her, Jake's expression shifted to concern, and her mother's face fell. I just needed to see you," he stammered, stepping inside as if drawn by an invisible force. His eyes darted around the room, absorbing the surroundings, lingering too long on Emily's startled face. "Why now?" she blurted out, anger boiling beneath her fear. "After everything? I know I have no right to just walk in like this," he said, his voice cracking under the weight of unspoken regrets. "But I couldn't stay away any longer. I wanted to what?" She shot back, her voice rising. "Wanted to be a dad now? After abandoning us?" The words sliced through the air, sharp and unforgiving. Jake had moved to her side. "Emily," he began, but she could see he was just as helpless as she felt. Just breathe," he urged, placing a hand on her shoulder. The warmth of his touch provided a strange comfort amidst the chaos. Her father flinched at the mention of his past, shame washing over his features. "I didn't leave because I didn't care, Emily. I thought I was doing what was best. But I see now how wrong I was. Best for who?" she yelled, tears pooling in her eyes. "You or us?" "Both," he said, desperation creeping into his voice. "I thought leaving would shield you from my mistakes. I was wrong, I know that now, and I'm so sorry." His voice shattered, and he reached out, pleading for understanding. Emily felt her heart waver. She glanced at Jake, who seemed to be searching for the right words, but there were none. "You're asking for my forgiveness?" Emily asked, the bitterness of her words heavy in the air. "Do you know how hard that is?" I know it won't be easy. But if you'll let me, I want a chance to make things right. To be a part of your life again," he said, his eyes pleading, reflecting a glimmer of hope. In the silence, Emily's mind raced. Memories flooded back, the good and the bad, moments of laughter as well as long nights of worry. Could she really let him back in? Wouldn't it only hurt her more? She took a deep breath, her heart pounding fiercely in her chest. "I need time, Dad," Emily finally said, her voice softer but resolute. "You can't just expect things to change overnight." He nodded solemnly. "I understand. I'll wait. I'll do whatever it takes." The weight of sorrow hung between them, but some of the tension eased. It was a beginning, fragile but present. Mark, who had remained in the background, finally stepped forward. "Maybe we should all just sit down and talk," he suggested, trying to anchor the spiraling emotions. Emily's gaze shifted back to Jake. He was watching her closely, as if gauging her every reaction. She saw in his eyes a mixture of support and concern, filling her with strength she didn't know she had. As they settled around the coffee table, she felt the heaviness of their shared past intertwining with the potential for something new. But just as she opened her mouth to speak, a loud crash echoed from the kitchen, startling everyone. "What now?" Emily gasped, instinctively looking to Jake and her father. Whatever it was, it felt like it was about to disrupt the delicate balance they were trying to find. With dread settling in her stomach, she got up and rushed toward the sound. What could it be this time? Her heart raced as she reached the doorway, preparing to face whatever chaos awaited her. What was lurking behind the closed kitchen door? The kitchen door swung open, and Emily was met with an overwhelming sight. The floor was littered with broken dishes, glistening shards of ceramic scattered like confetti. Her mother stood frozen at the center, her face pale and eyes wide, staring at the mess with disbelief. "What happened?" Emily asked, her heart racing with panic. "I don't know. I just turned around, and it fell off the counter," her mother stammered, her voice tight with frustration and worry. Emily's anger flared. Just when they were starting to have a moment, the chaos of their life struck again. She looked back toward Jake and her father, who both were standing behind her, expressions caught between concern and confusion. "Okay, let us clean this up," Jake said, stepping forward, ready to help, but Emily's thoughts were running wild. She couldn't shake off the feeling that this chaos mirrored the chaos in her heart, shattered, yet still yearning for something whole. "Is everyone okay?" she asked, searching their faces for reassurance. "Yeah, we're fine," her father replied, his voice low and steady. "Let us just focus on cleaning this up together. It's just a mess." Together. Did he really think they could just be a family again by cleaning a kitchen? They had so much to fix. She ignored that familiar ache in her chest as she focused on the task at hand, her hands trembling as she swept up shards with quick, jerky movements. As they worked side by side, the atmosphere began to shift. With every piece they picked up, the air grew lighter, unspoken tensions floating upward like the dust settling on the floor. "I remember when you used to help me cook," Emily's mother said quietly, as she handed her father a damp paper towel to wipe up some spilled food. "Those were good times," her father responded, a smile creeping into his tired face. Emily caught the softness in his expression, a glimpse of nostalgia clouding the pain they shared. It startled her to see that smile, breaking through the heaviness. Could there be a way to reconcile this family through memories, even amongst the ruins? "Maybe we could try again?" her mother suggested, looking at Emily. "A family night? Just the three of us, cooking like we used to?" Emily paused. The thought of being together like that felt both terrifying and warm. "That sounds nice," she replied cautiously, surprising even herself. "See, Em?" Jake said, glancing at her. "You're already making progress." Their eyes met, and she could see the faith he had in her. This was a bridge, a hint of healing amidst wreckage. She took a deep breath. As they finished cleaning up, Emily felt a small flame of hope starting to ignite within her. Maybe their story wasn't over yet. But just as she started to believe, there was a loud knock at the front door, shattering the fragile moment. "What now?" she thought, dread curling in her stomach again. Jake threw her a questioning glance, as her father stepped forward, concern etched into his features. "Stay here," he said, heading towards the door. Emily felt the weight of the world sit heavy again on her shoulders. Who could it be? What could happen next? She braced herself as her father opened the door, heart racing with uncertainty. Would this be another twist in their tumultuous reunion? It felt as if the night was getting darker, and she was left wondering who or what was waiting on the other side. The door creaked on its hinges and Emily's pulse quickened. Her father squinted into the darkness, his silhouette barely illuminated by the kitchen lights. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice steady, yet tinged with caution. A figure stood outside, barely visible through the door's glass. Emily strained to see through the shadows, her heart thudding against her chest. Uncertainty swirled inside her, drawing her thoughts to all the difficulties they had faced recently. "Dad," she whispered, "who is it?" But her father didn't respond. Instead, he took a cautious step backward, motioning for the family to stay behind him. Emily's stomach twisted tightly, she could almost feel the tension in the air wrap around her like a thick fog. "Can I help you?" he asked, his voice firmer now, but still with a hint of wariness. "Mr. Wright?" The voice was unfamiliar, muffled and nervous. "It's about the property on Elm Street. I think we need to talk." Emily felt the weight of that name hang in the air. The property. The looming financial crisis. It all clicked into place, and she felt a chill crawl over her skin. But she also felt something else, a rising sense of urgency. The knock at the door was not just another twist in their story, it was a reminder of their reality, of everything they were struggling to hold together. "Dad?" she said again, louder this time, desperate to break the tension. "Just a moment." He turned his head back toward her, the creases in his forehead deepening. Emily could see the conflict in his eyes. Her mother stood beside her, swallowing hard. Jake hovered at the edge of the doorway, taking in the scene with a concerned frown. Her father opened the door wide enough for the intruder to step inside, but not too wide. It revealed a young man, in his 20s, disheveled but earnest, holding a folder pressed against his side. The look on his face was both nervous and determined. "Sir, there's something I need to show you," he said, not meeting her father's gaze. "What is it?" her father replied, arms crossing over his chest. The moment felt charged, full of unspoken emotions, as everything they had been dealing with swirled around this single moment. "I know this isn't the best time, but I came to give you this," the stranger stammered before dropping his eyes to the floor. "I found something in the office, a diary belonging to your daughter." The word diary floated in the air, and Emily felt the color drain from her cheeks. Her thoughts raced back to the entries, the messy scrawls of her pain, her hopes, and her secret yearnings. "What do you mean?" her father asked, the tension thickening in his voice. She could see his fists ball tightly, fighting against the rush of emotions flooding the room. The young man took a breath. "It was hidden behind some files. I thought you might want to have it back." Emily stood frozen, her heart pounding. Would this be the moment? The moment that could shatter everything or perhaps bring something new to light? She could only stare, the world narrowing down to that folder, the future of their family teetering on the edge of revelation, and just when she thought it couldn't get any more intense, the young man raised his head, meeting her father's gaze directly. "It has a lot more in it than just memories. It could change everything." As Emily's breath caught in her throat, she wondered if their paths were about to diverge or intertwine deeper than ever before. Would a collection of words mend their fractured family, or would it expose wounds too raw for healing? The possibilities swirled in her mind as she waited, unsure of what the next words could unlock. Emily stood in the doorway, her heart racing. The young stranger's words reverberated in her mind, raising a storm of emotions: anxiety, hope, and fear. A diary. Her diary. The gravity of that moment weighed heavily in the air, a pivotal turning point, teetering on the edge of a knife. "Let me see it," her father said, his voice firm but trembling. He extended a hand, and the young man hesitantly passed him the folder. Emily felt her palms grow clammy, her breath hitching in her throat. What had her father read? Would he understand her pain, her struggles? With shaking hands, her father opened the folder. As the pages turned, Emily's heartbeat matched the tempo of his breaths, suspense hanging between every word he scanned. She could see the conflict in his eyes, surprise mingled with something deeper: regret. Understanding? This was you?" he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. His voice was thick with emotion, and for a moment, the world around them faded. "I wrote it all down," Emily admitted, her own voice barely a whisper, courage gathering like a storm inside her chest. "I thought no one would ever read it. I've been so blind," her father mumbled, regret etched deeply into his features. "I didn't understand how hard you've had it. I thought leaving was protecting you, but I see how wrong I was." Her mother stepped forward, voice soft but firm. "It's time to listen, really listen, and learn. You can't turn back the clock, but you can choose how to move forward." Mark, still present and steadfast, shifted closer to Emily, offering a quiet strength. The atmosphere lightened just a fraction, yet still thick with unresolved emotions. Can we talk?" her father said, his voice more tentative. Emily nodded slowly, a mix of hope and fear swirling within her. "I want to know how you're really doing, how we can fix this." Silence enveloped them for a moment, the vulnerability hanging heavy in the air. But instead of stepping back, Emily summoned every ounce of bravery within her. "It starts with honesty. With understanding. I felt so alone, Dad. And I wanted you to be a part of my life, my kids' lives. I need to know if you're willing to be here, truly be here. Her father swallowed hard, the emotion evident in his features. I'll do whatever it takes, he replied, his eyes filled with determination even among the fractures of their past. Jake exchanged a glance with Mark, both of them smiling with relief. This is it. This is the way forward, Jake encouraged, his voice steady and sure. As they sat around the coffee table, the diary took center stage, acting as both bridge and barrier. Sharing stories, they began to piece together the fabric of their lives, slowly but surely sewing the loose threads back into place. Lily and Jake, oblivious to the adult conversations, continued to play in the background, laughter ringing out freely, a sound that felt like a balm for each wounded heart in that room. As the night wore on, Emily shared her dreams and desires, her feelings laid bare. The words flowed, mingling with tears of joy and sorrow. The heavy past began to lift, replaced by a sense of possibility and promise. Let us not let it take another decade to talk like this, her mother chimed, her smile warm and reassuring. Family means facing the hard stuff, and now we're ready. With tentative smiles, Emily and her father exchanged glances heavy with hope, a communication that transcended years of distance. It felt almost like a rebirth. As the clock ticked into the early hours, Emily felt lighter than she had in years. It was a step, a small but infinitely powerful one towards reconciliation and understanding. The fragments of their lives merged together again, the tapestry of their family slowly stitched into something bright and new. Let us be better, together, her father said softly, reaching over to take her hand. They all nodded, the weight of the past still present but no longer insurmountable. As they wrapped up their conversation, Emily smiled wide, feeling a warmth in her heart. Life was still challenging. There would be hurdles to navigate, struggles ahead. But she knew this was the beginning of a new chapter, not simply of survival but of thriving together as a family. In that moment, with hearts open and hope blooming, they all made a promise to support each other. There was healing in their midst, a chance to create the family they had always wanted to be. As they settled down, a sense of peace wrapped around them like a cozy blanket. This was their moment, and from that point onward, Emily felt brave enough to face the world. Now, if you loved this powerful conclusion, you need to subscribe immediately to our channel. You don't want to miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you even further. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and share your love for heartfelt narratives. Comment below your feelings and reactions about this ending. Did it touch your heart? Did you find hope? And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who truly need to see this life-changing transformation. True fans understand the power of support.